What's up guys, it's Nemesis Reviews here, back with another One Piece video. Today I wanted to make a kind of prediction video for the next chapter, chapter 1014, but I just ended up writing ways Luffy could be saved and by who he can be saved by. So I think I decided to just make that the main point of the video instead of doing the prediction video, which I will likely still do. I think at least. I'll probably have to write it and record it today or else it probably won't be up in time. But with that being said, let's hop right into the video. So I talked about this in my last review, the most recent chapter of One Piece, chapter 1013, but I think someone is going to save Luffy, which should be obvious to most people, but you know, some people think otherwise. With that being said, my only question is who? First, I'd like to go over some more obvious options before going to some more obscure ones and unpredictable choices. And for me, the most realistic option is Yamato. I say this because they are the only person on our side who isn't fully convinced that Luffy can handle himself up there with Kaido, all by himself alone. We also know that they are actively on their way to help Luffy out because they don't think he can win 1v1. And on top of all this, we aren't aware of what their devil fruit power is. And in my opinion, it is very likely that it will be a mythical zone fruit that grants them the ability of flying in some way or another. Whether it's just they're able to fly, or it's something like where Kaido has, he doesn't fly himself, but he can make clouds they can float on, which gives him the appearance that he's flying. A lot of people are thinking that it's some sort of white mythical tiger, and honestly, that sounds pretty spot on to me. With her colorway, and we saw her fangs, I don't think we've seen Kaido just pull his fangs out in human form, and I don't think that's very likely for a dragon to be able to do that in the same way that Yamato did it. So I'm thinking it's something more realistic but still mythical. And if that's the case, I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to do the same thing that Kaido's able to do with making clouds that he can fly on. I don't think they'll be fire clouds necessarily, but maybe they're just some sort of mystical cloud that lets them float. You know, like I don't know if any of you have played World of Warcraft, but there's this mount where it's like this dog that flies across. It looks like it's just running, but it's flying on like little tiny clouds. Maybe something like that. Also, they just haven't done much in this arc at all. And Oda's definitely setting them up to be one of the more important people to play an overall role in the story and outcome of this arc. At least that's how I see it. He keeps putting them on covers, and we see a lot of Yamato, honestly. Like, it doesn't explain much. It doesn't show where they're going or whatever, but I definitely think Oda's setting them up to be someone very important to taking down Kaido and freeing Wano from his reign. Because honestly, being with Momo just doesn't do anything. It's like, obviously he's playing Odin, so Odin is Momo's father, but that doesn't really do anything to further the plot or their narrative. So I think that they either need to help Momo overcome his fear and like prove to everyone that he can be the Shogun of Wano, or they have to go up and help Luffy fight with Kaido. Because if anyone knows how to defeat Kaido, it'd be them. Like, they've been with Kaido the longest. Not the longest, obviously King and probably older, so been with him longer, but I'd say Yamato's probably definitely the closest to Kaido and would probably know a way to fight them. At least enough to help Luffy come out on top, whether it's just they 2v1 him or Yamato tells Luffy something that helps him learn something in the fight. What I personally think will happen is Yamato's definitely going to save Luffy, and then they're going to get their way back up to Onigashima, or it's going to crash back down, and the two of them will 2v1 Kaido. I don't know if it'll be 2v1 the whole fight, or if more people will make their way back up to the fight with him, whether it's Kid, Zoro, Law. I personally would like Zoro and Law at least to make their way up. And Kaido, and Kid as well, but if he's going to take out Big Mom, I'm fine with him just taking out Big Mom by himself. Or Big Mom and Kid and Law take out Big Mom, and then Yamato and Luffy take out Kaido, and Zoro's just maybe fights King, something like that, I'm not sure. But for me, it's the most realistic option for how Luffy's going to get out of the situations he's in, assuming that someone does save him. So my second of the 4 realistic options is Momonosuke. My 2 main reasons for thinking it could be Momonosuke to save Luffy is because of his devil fruit and him still needing to prove himself to everyone that he's someone fitting of the role to lead Wano once this is all over. Now that we're past Yamato, a lot of my people that I suspect will be the ones saving Luffy is less evident, so it's going to be quicker and quicker. But before I move on, I would like to say a few things in depth on why I think this is the case. I think Momo's artificial devil fruit made by Vegapunk will definitely play some sort of role in this arc. With how the CP0 members were talking about them being glad that it was a failure, that to me was definitely Oda telling us that Momo's fruit is not a failure and is probably going to do something relatively large in this arc. I know I'm not alone in this. A lot of other people have thought this way, but some people are still playing it off like, yeah, they just confirmed it was a failure. Like Vegapunk said it. Just because Vegapunk said it doesn't mean it's a failure. He could be lied. There's a lot of reasons he could have lied. He could have lied because he didn't want to end the government's hand. There could be some drawbacks to it, but still be able to do a lot of things that Kaido's able to do. And like I said, I personally think Momo is going to stop Onigashima from falling on Wano with the same clouds that Kaido's using. But if that doesn't happen, I could see him doing something where he saves Luffy and he goes up to face Kaido. Not only does that do something with the devil fruit, but it also proves that he is fitting of the role to be the leader of Wano. And not only that, it would show CP0 that Vegapunk probably lied to him if they see what happens. And this would lead to, after Wano, going into Vegapunk, a real smooth transition, because we already know that CP0 and the world government would have a problem with Vegapunk for lying over that. In short, I basically think that Momonosuke needs a great display of his devil fruit power and a show of his will that he is able to be a leader for the land of Wano after this war is over. And I think this would be a perfect opportunity for him to do so. For the next person that I think can realistically save Luffy in the story is Marco. So just like for Momo, I have two reasons for thinking that Marco could be the person to save Luffy. The first is very simple. He can fly. He's one of the few people we know for a fact can fly. Plus, the second reason is he has not interacted with Luffy at all. And I don't know what happened, but before Wano, or at least before Onigashima, we had got some sort of like spoiler. I don't know if it's from Oda himself or from like some sort of data book or the editors, but it was saying, I think it was a data book or the Vivre cards that was saying Marco would have a hard time following Luffy's orders. We have yet to see Luffy and Marco interact since Onigashima started. So I definitely think something's going to come with him, whether that's right now when Marco leaves where he is, holding off King and Queen to save Luffy, which I think is kind of unlikely, honestly, because I think Marco's going to need to hold him off until Sanji can get there with Zoro. And then Sanji's going to hold off the two of them, maybe, with the help of others, obviously, because he cannot hold off the first and second commander of Kaido all by himself, while Marco's healing Zoro, because Zoro needs to be back at least half health because he can't even move right now. But he's definitely going to get a 1v1 fight this arc. At least that's what I believe. I don't think Oda would change that. It's always been that way. So for me, this one is less of a possibility, or at least not something I would like to happen in the story, but I don't want to ignore it because it's definitely possible, and I think it's realistic for anyone to think this way. My last realistic choice for a person to save Luffy is Hiyori. And honestly, I don't really have any evidence to support this. I don't even have a way for her to even do it. The only reason I think it's an option is because I still don't know how Oda will incorporate her into the finale of Wano. With those four out of the way, I'd like to go over some of the less likely options, and I'll try to blaze through them really quickly, maybe with a sentence or two of an explanation, or even less than that. So let's go. First off, I'd say Sanji, because we know he's capable of getting into the air where Luffy is and needing to be saved with his skywalk and his raid suit, but that's basically my only reasoning for thinking he's a possibility. Next would be Kandro. And my only reason is because he can draw birds that can fly. I also think any other scabbard is an option. I don't know how, I don't know why. That's just my way of thinking. I think it's a possibility. And now the other people who I think maybe aren't on Onigashima, maybe they're on Wano. So I was thinking people like Hitetsu or the Fox, Onimaru I think his name is, or just anyone else Luffy has met throughout Wano that isn't currently on Onigashima. But yeah, guys, that's basically all the people I think it might be a possibility to save Luffy. There's always a possibility that something else will happen and he doesn't get saved. Like, we could already be over mainland Wano and Luffy could just hit the ground and most likely be fine from that. And then he can land somewhere maybe to reveal some sort of mystery or secret, because we know there's a lot of mysteries and open plot lines left in Wano, such as the statues under the flower capital. And if Luffy were to fall through the ground and see something, maybe hear something with the voice of all things, I'm not sure. Anything cool can happen. This can go anywhere. He can be saved, or Oda can take it completely left field, something nobody expects, which honestly I'd prefer, because who wants to be able to predict everything that happens in the story? Even if it's still good, you still like to be like surprised by the events that happen. But yeah, with that being said, let me know what you guys think about this topic. Do you think Luffy's gonna be saved? If so, by who? And if not, what do you think will happen? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My voice cracked. I'm gonna leave it in because I don't feel like re-recording it. But anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Later.